You're here in crypto at a very smart, strategic time, but not when things are going straight up, but when they are down. And intuitively, we know that in order to sell high, we want to buy low. But did you know that 95% of people just don't do this? They wait till the market is already going way up, and that the people that were in when it was slow have already made 10x or more returns, and then they jump in. But because you're here now, we're going to talk about why you are going to be rich in crypto. Because if you're here now, you already have understood one of the most important principles of riding this tidal wave to change your finances for forever. We also want to talk more about this mini crypto winter we are having. Is this the last fake out that is going to fake out all the bulls before the market dumps into the crapper, taking the money from everyone who is waiting for a swing up, or is it just some massive punishment to shake out the weak hands before a massive swing upwards? We will talk about exactly that because it probably is on your mind. We'll also get into some very bullish news. The right things are setting up for things to take off when the timing is right. I think February we start that trend up. Let's go through some of this bullish news together and see what you think. Let's also talk about more with the concerns of the U.S. Fed raising rates, as well as the President of the U.S. preparing an executive order related to cryptocurrency. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain. If you like money in crypto and you're looking for a real investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family by liking this video and subscribing with that all notifications bell enabled. Special note, you know this, but I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself, sharing with you how I think about the crypto market and specific cryptos I like.
I'm still not sure about that.
Oh,
really?
Siri has an opinion about that. That's funny. For myself, crypto is...
Come on, Siri, you're killing us.
Siri and my watch is having a real conversation with me. That's hilarious. Siri, thank you for your input. All right. For myself, crypto has taken my portfolio from thousands to millions, and I share with you the Rainmaker system I created that leads to amazing results. Note, I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel because I don't talk about cryptos I don't believe in. We want to thank our Patreon members. We have a private Discord that our Patreon members get access to. There is a link to Patreon if it interests you. It is a closed group, not public, and there is even more I'm able to share with you, but I do give you a lot of alpha right on our YouTube channel. Now, we do have some strategic partnerships. If it said sponsor at the beginning, that's because of these strategic partnerships with Wanchain and Kitsumon. And they're really good to them, well, to us and to you, and we'll talk more about that later. Now, make it rain on that like button and strap in for the show. Let's welcome our producer, D-Money, in the Crypto Rain Command Center with me.
What is up, Jay? God, freaking Monday, man. Like, this one is feeling like a real Monday to me, and, like, the camera freaking stopped. You got Siri, who's, like, trying to cut in on our conversation, and, like, screw it all, man. Like, let's have the best show that we've ever had today. Forget Monday, forget technology. Let's get the party started. You want to?
Let's do it. Join me, Rainmakers. All right, so why do I believe that you joining us here are making the right choices and that you're going to do far better than many others in crypto? Now, I've been in crypto for only 4 years. It isn't really all that long of a time, though it feels like a decade already. It's still just 4 years. I have lots of battle scars and wounds, which means lots of learned lessons. Prior to crypto, I was in real estate and other investments very directly for 20 years. What I learned is that investments follow patterns. Crypto has its own patterns. It does share some relation to other types of investments like real estate, but it's also very unique as well. It is very, very volatile. It has a very shortened cycle, roughly just over 4 years from top to top. It is a booming tech area that really, if you really look at it, is going to change the world. And many people involved in crypto are all new, trying to figure it out too, especially on the investment side, because they know there is serious money here. So let's talk about what most do wrong. It's human nature for us to chase what is getting away. Why is it we do this? Why is it specifically that we do this with investments? In the audience, rain on me. Lady Gaga. It says Ricky Schmidt. Thanks for joining us. I'm checking out some of your posts. Hit the like button, guys. Make it rain on that like button. Now, why is it that we have a tendency to chase green candles? Or another phrase that I used to, like another analogy I like to use is we jump off the dock swimming furiously at the boats that we've already missed, that have already left the harbor. Why is it that we do this? Now, this is part of our hardwiring, the hunter part of our human brain that wants us to chase things that are getting away, right? Because they're getting away. And that's our tendency. But because we have a logic side as well, we can do it differently. We can, though most don't, wait for things to come to us, to get on boats that are presently at the dock, or wait for the boats that have left to come back, because they often do. Now, why is this so hard? My guess is that each of you that are here today have already been understanding these principles. Now, how do I know that? Because you're here. The crypto markets have been pummeled since mid-November, and yet you're here. Now, why are you here right now? Well, it's because it's where the money is, right? For you to have a huge harvest in the summer, you have to be planting your seeds and crops in the winter, specifically to crypto, right? What often happens is that many come late in the late crypto spring, and by then a lot of the people that were planting their harvest in the crypto winter, well, the people that come late spring have seen all those people from the crypto winter getting fat and their bags getting huge, and they hurry up and throw all their seeds in the soil, and if they're lucky, they get some harvest before the ground goes cold again and freezes all their seeds, and they lose 95% of them. Isn't that what we see in crypto? That's the patterns I've seen over the past 4 years. And I know many of you in the audience came in March during that pump. And the truth is, most all of us came in during a pump. I know I did. I came in 2017. I watched Bitcoin break 1,000 passively. Watched it go all the way to 6,200 before I was like, I really better figure out more about this Bitcoin thing and the technology behind it. Now, why didn't I come in when the timing was better? It's because I hadn't learned enough about what was going on. It took a huge pump for it to get my attention, and it took my friend making some crazy gains before I really did a lot of due diligence looking into it. How many here are exactly in the same boat that came in after a big pump, or our friends made money? In the audience, I'm looking at you.
I feel like you're looking at me, Jay. Like specifically, I know for me, like crypto is something that like I should have been into. Like the problem is I just had kids, man. Like I had a family and like I had a restaurant and like I was hearing about all this stuff and it made perfect sense. Like when I think about like the market and technology and, you know, Web 3.0 or whatever you wanted to call it, like that stuff all lines up with exactly what I'm interested in. So why didn't I do it? Like, you know, I don't know. And it did take somebody who was, you know, having some successes. I mean, specifically with Veve, you know, and that dipped my toe in the water and, you know, now I'm down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Chris Ashby says, yeah, I came in when I saw ETH pumping big time, December 2020.
Yeah, same bearish bulls said December of 2020 as well.
Troy says, jealousy. Why is my coin sitting still and others pumping? Then I move and again, till I'm way, way down. I did that even after being told, don't chase green. Yes, that does happen. Now, what's great is all of us came in this way, almost all of us, right? And it's just human nature. When I used to do investment real estate and I was working with new investors, I would bring them these amazing deals. And they would almost have to always miss out on one before they were ready to catch the next one. So it's just human nature. So they'd miss out, they would see it get scooped up, and then they're like, oh, wait, I was still thinking about that. And I'm sorry, it's gone. Like, sorry, I had somebody else that like scooped it up and it's gone. And they're like, oh, okay, let me know when the next one comes around. I was like, okay. So it's just human nature. I've seen this in other things that we almost need to miss out on a deal to realize what we missed out on. But we've already been through that part of the cycle. What I love is that you're here and that those that are here you're the elite. Like we talk about the rainmakers being the Navy SEALs of crypto. And the truth is, if you're still here after all this pummeling, you're in the elite and you're going to have much, much better results because you're sowing all your seeds during the winter. And even if you planted them in the spring before, you'll be amazing from spring or summer, like I guess we could call last spring. That was more like a crypto summer, a mini crypto summer. And that's when I know a lot of you came in. And still some of you are holding on to some of those bags. You'll see that when it pumps again, that your values will go way, way up. Yet you're here in the middle of this little mini winter we're having and you're tuning in. So I know that you're in the right place and you're thinking the right way. And that is why you are going to get rich through this crypto winter, as long as you're making smart choices on what you're buying at these low levels, and also taking profits at good times when the good times come, and they will. Now, is this just a fake out? On your mind, is this likely to keep dumping? You're probably thinking, is this market going to dump on us? Let me look over, just want to check the chats. Bernard says he likes the analogy. Me for sure in December of 2020, bearish bull, that's when he came in. Yeah, 2020 was a great time to come in.
Yeah, Decentralized Sancho says, I came in 18. Then,
nice.
Yeah, then after not understanding to load up bags during winter market last year, last year my little bags became big bags. Then I realized I got to load up no matter what.
Nice job, Decentralized Sancho. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on here on the markets. I want to show you Bitcoin's chart. And so we had this big rise, and this was starting in just before December, actually. It really took off later October and just went crazy on the Bitcoin price. And then these later part here, also the altcoin prices took off, and then Bitcoin just crashed hard here, going all the way. And what's funny is there were people here, a lot of what you heard in July is the same stuff you're hearing now, and you're probably watching other YouTube channels. That's okay if you cheat on us. We still love you. In fact, we encourage you to get as educated as possible. We hope you tune in here and the content is good enough that you're always tuning into us. But that depends on how good of a job we do, right? So if you're watching other channels, you're seeing like, oh yeah, is this a crypto winter? Maybe, and it's pretty clear that it's a mini winter, just like this July is, or July was. And my guess is for those of you that were here through July, you're already prepared for a lot of what's happening. And you're hearing things like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin could break down and it could go to 18,000. It could. It likely won't, but it could. Who knows? There is some things that the U.S. Fed could do that would really dampen things in the short term and punish us in the short term. I hope they don't, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. Likely we're going to experience something similar to this. Now, it's been going down pretty sharp in this pattern, but these kind of patterns don't go for forever. So look how much they've already dropped, and it's right near the top of this pattern. It might be ready to break out, or it might bounce off here and go down some more and continue this pattern a little bit more into right around this range. Now, I expect it will bounce off this range unless really, really devastating news happens. Now, I know you're getting from some people that this is probably the crypto winter and it's too bad. This is not what a bull market really looks like. I mean, from these lows.
Do you mean a bear market, Jay?
Well, this is not fully what a bull market looks like. Like, we haven't had, this is not big enough to have been like the great bull market that happens every 4 cycles. So let me show you this. Now, it looks really big compared to this, but look on this chart and see if you can tell me where 2013 is. You hardly can tell, right? Because let's look at proportions here. I want to look at proportions of 2000. See, this is 2013, and this was the following cycle. Do you see what a difference that is?
Sure, yeah.
And so we're looking at this from this previous all-time high. So the previous all-time high here was just over 1,000. It was like almost 1,200. And then it went to 20,000. So what's that? Like 15, 16, 17x increase, right? So are people saying that this cycle from the previous top at 20,000, that, at like under 4x, in fact 3.5x is where this market's going to top out. I don't think so. And the chances, I think, are really weak that there is a chance. There's always a chance. And what we do in crypto is we play probabilities because we don't have a magic crystal ball. We can't see the bottom. And some of my stuff here from previous video is here when I was kind of explaining. So we had this peak of 2017, which was 526 days after the second Bitcoin halving. So the third Bitcoin halving happened here, and we started to have this early year pump. And then it faltered, and it was really early year pump. It shouldn't have happened. A lot of this was driven by Elon Musk and Bitcoin, and Tesla buying Bitcoin, and got a lot of people excited, corrected back down. Then a lot of people started to get exciting here. And then part of this was just due to the stock market crash and other financial woes. But I still think it's setting up for a really, really big gain that's going to be anywhere, the all-time highs will be anywhere from just under 10x to 15x of where this previous high was. And we just haven't seen that yet. So I know some people are predicting, we're entering the crypto winter. I would say that's correct only if you consider this a mini crypto winter. Otherwise, I say the probabilities are strongly against them. But when it's feeling down like this, they're then feeling down and they're talking with their emotions, right? Because we do have, as human beings, a recency bias. And because we've been going through this downturn, their recency bias is bearish. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's probably just going to keep continuing. No, it doesn't. Now, we'll talk about the news, and we'll talk with all of you what we think about. There's not some bullish news out of the U.S., at least the U.S. regulatory side. In some small ways it's bullish, but mostly it's bearish. I'm just checking in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Bitcoin is looking like it wants to jump up from Giovanni. It does. It does really bad want to jump up. I'm not convinced it's going to jump up here. I think it comes down again, but we'll see. It does want to jump up, and there's a lot that's pushing it up. You're right about that. Bitcoin dominance, I do expect Bitcoin dominance is going to come up a lot. Now, even though Bitcoin's price has been going down, the altcoins have been going down further, so we've seen Bitcoin's dominance rise. For a little bit of historical perspective, for those that haven't followed what Bitcoin's dominance is, this is the dominance of Bitcoin over the altcoins, right? So it's kind of like what percentage of the market cap does Bitcoin make up versus what percentage of the market cap does the rest of the altcoins make up. So Bitcoin's dominance, really what used to be really, really high prior to 2017, and as the bull run really went on, a lot of these altcoins took off. You're talking about Cardano, Tron, XRP, and other things. And as that happened, Bitcoin's dominance fell, hitting a low here about 35%. And then over the crypto winter, it's not that Bitcoin's price went up. Bitcoin's price got savaged during the crypto winter. It's just altcoins got savaged more. So Bitcoin's dominance as a percentage of the total market cap went up. I don't think we'll hit these higher numbers ever again because more altcoins have come out. Their use cases are starting to make sense. And they are cutting into, like they're just expanding. And so Bitcoin's percentage of the market cap won't ever be as high as it was because these altcoins have hit viability and their use cases have come on. And they're going to have very large market caps too. So Bitcoin won't ever be like 75 or especially like 96% again. So I do expect we'll see it climb here, that we'll see at some point Bitcoin's going to take a strong run, and the altcoins just don't do anything during that time, is my guess. And Bitcoin comes up, and then you see this savage slide down as the altcoins completely run. All right. This is the stock to flow model. I refer to this a lot because I think this is the best graph that makes sense that I've ever seen. And because of the tokenomics behind Bitcoin, where the increase in supply is halved every year, that it really has set a situation that as Bitcoins continue to grow, there ends up being less supply than there is demand. And because of that, the value of Bitcoin continues to grow, and this chart essentially maps that out. And it suggests that Bitcoin's price right now, true price, is about $75,000. And with it trading far below it, this is like the beach ball being held underwater. And like Giovanni said, Bitcoin is looking like it wants to run. And that's because it's oversold and it's vastly undervalued. And what happens is when it pumps, it usually pumps and breaks way above this line before then coming back down below it in the larger crypto winter. And so I put a lot of stock in this stock to flow model that I think they have a valid, their thesis on this is valid, and that they've pretty much gotten as close as you can with forecasts on where the true value likely is. And so we're looking at a price of $37,000 when probably the true value is right around $74,000 to $75,000. That's that upward price pressure that as soon as it starts pumping towards that way, is then going to pump really fast because that pressure pushing it upwards. Now, we've seen a lot of other things get savaged too. Like we're looking at the third generation blockchains. Polkadot has gotten savaged almost back to July lows, with July hitting $11, and we're almost back down there at $18, $17. I mean, look, ran all the way up to 56 and then savaged all the way back down here. Solana, not quite the lows from July. I mean, July was a great time to buy, and everyone was calling that the beginning of the long-term crypto winter. Not everyone, but there were many personalities calling it. And yet Solana ran all the way to $260 after being at just $23. So if you had listened to them and believed them and not done your own research, then you would have missed out on some amazing gains. Then, it's come all the way back down to $93. But look, it's still a lot higher than it was, and it could come back down a little bit more. But I think Solana is going to be ready to run pretty soon. Hopefully you caught our video on the Solana, 3 Solana gems recently. Let's look at those. We just did this on Friday. And we talked about 3 that are getting added to Coinbase, and they've all pumped a little bit since then. So, not this one. Star Atlas, this is the 7-day forecast, and we talked about it last Friday. And so the price was sitting about 4.8 cents. It's totally taken off to 5.8 cents. Serum as well, when we talked about it, it was about 215-ish, and now trading at 231. So I guess it's not taken off tremendously, but they are still up. Now, Audius is one that I really like generally where these charts are at. Look at this. Yeah, longer term. They were all the way at $4. Now they're way, way down here. I just think their partnership, was it with Spotify?
They did something with TikTok.
To be able to get their stuff out. I mean, they're making the right partnership. Still really, really early days of cryptocurrency. Take a strong look at Audius's token and see if you like it for yourself. Now, all right, let me take the chat. If you haven't already, would you make it rain on that like button? How are you in the live chat feeling? Tell me what's on your mind and what you're thinking about, especially as the market's been generally slow. Now, while we're waiting to hear some of your responses, let's take a moment to thank our strategic partners, Wanchain and Kitsumon. Both of these projects went through excruciating vetting, specifically with our business manager, Doctor of Stuff. And in our strategic partnership, they give us goodies to give away to the audience. Kitsumon is in the middle of their early NFT sale, and they're currently available through Swappable. In fact, here's the schedule here. So you can buy them on Swappable, then it's going to be OXBull, and then right on Gate.io, which is where I'm looking to buy mine. If you haven't signed up for Gate.io, if you use our referral link, you get 20% of the commissions on your trades back. So you might as well, because if you just go there and sign up, you get 0% back. Anyway, as well as there will be a public sale here that I might be looking to buy more here, or I don't fully understand what this is. Next time we have them on, I'll ask them specifically how this part goes, because I understand how the public sale goes. All right. Also, Wanchain gives us 500 won every month to give away. We give away 125 won pretty much every week. So stay tuned this week, because we haven't given away to our winners yet. Wanchain specifically has been a project that I followed since late 2017. I loaded up very heavily during the bear market and still hodl strongly as I wait for it to hit some amazing prices. All right, I want to check out the chats now that we have some time. TMOC says, we don't have any control over the future and we can't control it. The only thing we can do is control our buying, so I am buying the quality that is now heavily discounted and cheap. ADA and Omi. I love it. Absolutely. ADA and Omi are definitely, in my personal opinion, cheap compared to what I think they will do. All I see is highs and higher lows. Higher highs and higher lows from Giovanni. Saul, I keep all my assets in Celsius and I'm just good sitting through this time making some good passive income. Celsius is great for that. I'm buying more Drive. I'm prepping my summer. I like it. Should I build an NFT project or wait for winter? Also, when Liquid Finance? I haven't been following Liquid Finance too closely. I'm not sure on the date on that. Yeah, if you can make some good NFTs. I do think the NFT market, actually I'm going to talk about that. Why don't we take this opportunity? If you notice that the NFTs that make up most of what I'm buying, they're top level NFTs, usually with top licenses. The exception to that, is AAA level projects like Cornucopias. In fact, Cornucopias has their NFT sale coming tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central, CST time. So look for that. Now, they're not the top level, like some of the other stuff I've been talking about, or like the NFL All Day that is done by the same people that did NBA Top Shots. Now, for me, those ones are kind of second nature because when I was a kid, I collected baseball cards. And what I should have been collecting during that time, 1990, I should have been buying basketball and NFL cards. Now, why? Because baseball cards, they were printing off by this time, like hundreds of millions of them. But yet it was the NFL and the basketball cards that they didn't have a whole lot of people collecting them yet. And so their edition sizes were so much smaller, yet they were top level licenses. So what I love about right now is you're getting some firsts, right? So last year was the time to buy NBA Top Shots because essentially it was the first series. This year is the time to buy NFL stuff. And even if you're anywhere in the world and you don't follow NFL, I don't follow NFL. But I'm collecting those cards because I understand the value proposition. It's a top level license. There's a lot of people that collect it, that collect NFL stuff that aren't into crypto yet. They'll come in later. They'll be like, oh crap, I missed. Oh, I want that Series 1 whatever player. In fact, D follows football and he was catching me up on who's good, and he was telling me about this. Is he a receiver or running back for the Chiefs?
Yeah, Tyreek Hill. He's a wide receiver, and he's super dynamic. He's like one of the fastest players in the league, and yeah, some of those moments with guys like Tyreek or the wide receiver Chase for the Bengals, who's a rookie this year and has really been. He didn't play great yesterday, but has had some monster games. Those are anyway. Yeah, there are players there that but even if you're not getting the best players, it still is the first, right?
Yeah, and you'll see even the comments from the first series. Look at how the first series of NBA Top Shots did, right? I put about $1,100 into it. At the peak in March, it went to $180,000 from $1,100. Ridiculous. And even though it's fallen from then, it's still sitting anywhere between $35,000 to $52,000. Depending on the week, because the values fluctuate. And we're in a lull. It'll go back up. And that was just, I just bought a bunch of common packs and got a bunch of rare packs as well. And just the values went up. It's Series 1, so why would you not participate? But I did shout it out on Friday's channel, and so I know all of you jumped in. And then I ended up everyone got the packs but me, because it put me in the queue just like everyone else. It put me at the end of the queue, though. So I think there was 50,000 packs or whatever.
It was 29,000.
29,000. I was 39,000 in line, so I didn't get some. But I know pretty much everyone else I talked to from our audience that got in the line got some, and I didn't, which is just how it works, right? You just never know. So keep an eye out for the NFL All Day stuff, because I think that's going to do really well. And then the UFC stuff. There's a UFC drop UFC pack drop number 2 next Monday. So watch for that, because they've never really had collectible cards that I'm aware of for the UFC. And if they have, I feel like this is something with a huge growing audience. I don't usually watch it, not that I don't like to, it's just I don't make it a priority. But these moments are really cool, because what I do love watching is I do love watching some of the moments from UFC, because if you think about it, sometimes the 10-minute fight might be extremely boring, but then there's 3 seconds in it that are amazing. And so it's kind of like football, kind of like basketball. UFC also has moments that are spectacular. And so this whole idea that they did with NBA Top Shots plays really well for NFL. It would play really well for international football, what in the US they call soccer, right? You do really well for that, but also for UFC. And so I imagine more collectors will come online, and that's where the value comes in. Is a lot more people come online later wanting to collect these things. There was a scarce amount in Series 1, plus it's Series 1, it's the first. We saw the same thing with Veve, right? In the Series 1, say, Batman Black and White. And the Todd McFarlane, which was actually the very first Batman NFT that was done, and where the value on that is gone. We were buying it at $80 in, if you were around with us back in March, and, what's trading about 14,000 last I looked, 12 to 14,000. All right. Now, join us also, if you like NFT stuff, specifically Omi as well, join us Wednesdays. If you missed last Wednesday's episode, you can catch on the channel. That's Wednesday evening. All right. Also, we talked about this a little bit, but did you like that video? If you caught it, let me know what you thought of the top Solana gems video from Friday. I still think Solana is going to be huge as an ecosystem, and we'll talk about some news on that a bit in the news section. So let's see in the chat how you're feeling. Tom Cruise, nice name on there. I feel very excited for the future price action upward because of what you have been teaching. Buy when it's boring or feeling fear. Good. It's worked out so well for me. And I know, though, some of my friends, I really didn't start this channel until December. I made a few videos, but really in January I started putting a lot of efforts into it a year ago. And so I know my audience is still pretty young with this, but this system works really well over longer periods of time, extremely well. Let's see, what do we got? Chris Ashby says, hey Jay, would you be buying new Veve collectibles that have just come out, or would you wait for the money transmitter license? I'm thinking specifically of the Disney cards. That's a great question. That's been on my mind. I bought a few of them. I'm waiting to see what happens. I have a bunch of gems just sitting there waiting for the money transmitter license, because I do think prices will have strong sell pressure, and I think that'll exceed the buy pressure by a lot and bring prices down, though I don't know. It's just a guess. So I bought a couple, and just so I can have some, and I'm hoping to be able to buy a lot more. My question, Josh, I can't scroll up while going through this. What are your NFTs you're looking at? Well, join us Wednesday. Specifically, we talking mostly about Omi, but also sometimes interspersed in this channel, we talk more about NFTs. I like the land stuff. Now, I did get on, OpenZoo, which is on the Wanchain network, and I speculated on a bunch of the stuff there that's new, that's going well, because we've seen a lot of these third-generation blockchains that when they start to get an NFT market, some of the early stuff from those NFT markets have gone crazy. So I did buy a bunch of stuff on there, on OpenZoo. Generally, I'm looking for things that have really good licenses, like the NFL, NBA stuff, especially firsts of them, right? I don't continue to buy the NBA stuff because they're on like Series 3, and it's just not the same as Series 1. I'd rather put that money into the NFL stuff if I'm able to get a pack. I'd rather put it into the UFC stuff. I'd rather put it into like Omi on specific drops. I don't stress as much on anymore. It's so hard to get things right on the drop. But as far as buying it on the aftermarket for the on the Veve ecosystem, I'm looking for big firsts, right? So the Disney stuff that just came out, that's really good. You know, do I care so much about Daredevil episode 50 comic book? Not unless I know that the resale on the actual comic book is really, really high. Otherwise, I'm not as worried about it. I did scoop up a whole bunch of Amazing Spider-Man #1 commons, a whole bunch of Marvel #1 commons, back when they were trading at like $4 or $5. I wish I'd bought a lot more, but I did buy a bunch of them, and you know they've gone up to like $600 or $700. Why? It's Marvel #1, right? So just because on the resale market it was hitting like $4 because it was a common and people didn't realize the long-term value of it, just because everyone else doesn't realize, don't discount what your gut is telling you on those kind of things, especially when they're huge licenses and they're a first on the blockchain. Does that make sense? So think about that. As far as like all these different 10,000 NFT like generative art things, I did buy some crypto walkers. I do like what they're doing. They partner with Network. They're buying some land with Network and doing some things. I suspect that they'll do well. I missed out on Angry Apes Army, and their prices have gone up a lot. Wish I'd bought some. I know some of my friends did. And yeah, they looked a little bit too similar for me, but they're supposed to be making a movie. So outside of those two things, I mostly stay away from the 10,000 generative NFTs unless there's something extra special about them. If you think about Angry Apes Army, like, and who knows if the movie comes to fruition, but if it does, it'll end up making that huge. Crypto Walkers has these 3D animated Crypto Walkers that are extremely cool. And so there's definitely something special about them. But outside of that, I don't throw money at a lot of these different things. There's got to be something special about it because NFTs can be made like endlessly. And so a lot of the values when this bigger bull market ends, a lot of the values on just whatever NFTs are, they're going to get trashed unless there's some established long-term value as to why it's good, right? So CryptoPunks, well, they were kind of the first NFTs and have been established and thought of as the first NFTs. So yeah, they'll have value. But most of the other stuff I would be cautious with. All right.
Bearish Bull's asking if you. So, are you planning to pick up a bubble jet, the Cornucopias?
Absolutely. Hopefully, I can buy more than one.
Yeah, and they. So, I mean, you just talked about how you are a bigger believer in land as an NFT, and Cornucopias is going to do land as well. So, in your opinion, like, you know, you're going to be picking up the bubble jets, but like, I don't know. I guess I'm just wondering, like, the land versus the bubble jet. If you could only buy one, would you buy the land?
Land.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
So why I like the land is realize that some of these games aren't going to make it out. Even some of the games that I like, I realize they're not going to make it long term. How do I know that? It's just the way things play out. We're early days investors, right? So you have to realize the time frame that you're in. So a lot of what I'm holding right now, I plan to sell in like the coming 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Whenever there's a massive inflow of people into crypto, that's when those of us, those that are here right now, that's when to sell, is when everybody else comes in, like, you know, throwing all their money around, and there's a huge craze. And it is hard to sell because you hit this euphoria, because every like minute you wait, it seems like things are going up by 10%. But that's a great time to sell and sell off some of your stuff. So some of the stuff I'm buying now, I'm going to be taking profits and get my initial out plus a whole bunch of profit. But some of the land items, I will keep them. But I buy multiples of the land, like Cornucopias, like Ember Sword. Unfortunately, I only ended up with 3 sandbox. I bought like 15, but the 12 of the transactions failed. And so it didn't go through. 3 of them did. So I tried to have a bunch of sandbox pieces of land. I did buy a lot of Axie Infinity. I have sold all my land in Axie Infinity. I don't have any Decentraland land, but the land, what's crazy is it takes on some bits of real estate, some properties of real estate, this digital real estate. And it is a highly speculative investment, but we have covered the land NFTs, and it's amazing how the entry-level Axie Infinity, Sandbox, as well as Decentraland land prices are all right about the same, $12,000 to $14,000. So my hope is with Network's land and maybe Cornucopias land is there's upward price pressure going to that floor level price, especially as Cornucopias releases some things that keep people interested in Cornucopias. And so what I'm looking for is lots of land that then I can take profits on some of it, have my initial out plus a bunch of profits. That way I can continue to hold the rest without a lot of risk, because it is possible during the crypto winter that the land doesn't come down in value. If the game continues to attract things, even during a crypto winter, think about it, it is a video game. And when the general crypto market is crashing, there's a chance that certain video games don't necessarily crash. At least their land might not crash. We saw that with Decentraland, that though the token crashed in the crypto winter, its land values didn't, and the land values continued to climb through the crypto winter. So that's my thoughts on it. Do you see longevity in Metamal's land? I do. So I hope it does well. I was able to, through some connections, to get some land in Metamal's, so I'm excited about that. I think it'll do well. I think Blocktopia, one of its competitors, hit some really good trajectory because basically they had a metaverse mall kind of like thing right around the time Facebook, and they had launched right around the time Facebook announced that they were changing their name to Meta, and this new metaverse idea was huge, and it pumped everything with metaverse. But if MetaMalls only does like 1/2 or 1/4 of what Blocktopia did, MetaMalls is going to be absolutely huge. And they'd have a lot more background than Blocktopia ever did as far as production of 3D quality stuff. All right, Omi will melt faces. Yes, it will. That's why I'm really bullish on the price. So Wednesday evening, we are starting our late night Veve live stream Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. You might check out the channel and watch that. If you missed the last one, Dr. of Stuff joins DNI for a deeper look at the Omi token and the Veve marketplace. That's 8:30 p.m. Pacific on Wednesdays. It's a new live stream that we're going to start doing every week. I cover a lot of different crypto projects, but I'm so bullish on the Omi token right now, which I think still has massive market opportunities to grow, as well as Dr. of Stuff is my primary Veve update source. So this chat allows me to get updated on the latest at the same time as all of you hear some of the best alpha on Omi and Veve that there is. He literally is one of the most up-to-date people on what's going on there. What he knows is amazing. So
thanks to Giovanni, who just gave us a little thank you super chat. We appreciate that.
Very much appreciated, Giovanni. Thank you. Some other news that's going on. SundaeSwap is live, I think. You can connect it with I forget this wallet, Nami, the Nami wallet. So I did get a Nami wallet, sent like 2,000 ADA over to it, just so I can play around with that. You can see Meld is live. Like, I could trade this ADA for Meld. I'm not buying Meld at these prices, even though I'm a huge fan of Meld. I think it's going to do amazing in the coming years. Strong team. Ken at Meld is incredible, and the team that he's brought together. But I believe in buying at lows, not at just released. Price is pretty crazy right now. All right, so what else is going on? I want to get into the news with you. And this is some of the reasons I'm so bullish on the Solana ecosystem. And that doesn't mean I'm not bullish on ADA. I am. I have both. And Solana's wallet, look at this. Solana's wallet Phantom raises $109 million in new funding as it launches an iOS app. Now, the $109 million puts its total valuation at $1.2 billion. Now, this is the way like private capital works. So they're buying equity in the Phantom wallet, not tokens specifically. And it's interesting how much investor interest that there is in the Phantom wallet. and in investing in it. And that gives me an indication of where the big money is really going. And it's going into crypto behind the scenes. In fact, we're going to cover a lot of articles about that. But also within the Solana ecosystem, there is so much bullish news that's happening underneath that hasn't bubbled up to the surface yet, that's still happening. Look at Venture Froth catapults FTX to a $32 billion valuation. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX has been a huge backer of Solana, and this makes a difference when you have major players and major organizations that are out there that are backing this blockchain, and they're having development done on it, they're funding development on it, they're investing in companies that are developing on it, and it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy in that, yeah, there's some bugs on Solana that need to be fixed and some kinks that need to get worked out, but because there's so much developer interest going on there, it's heading in the right direction, and I'm very bullish on what's to come with Solana. So don't sleep on Solana, and especially the Solana ecosystem projects. If you haven't checked out that video on the 3 top ones that are about to be added to Coinbase, as well as some of the risky gems that I'm interested in and very much invested on, check out that video. So more money coming into crypto. Look at this, like even while prices are down, this is the stuff that's happening below the surface that like a lot of people that don't understand where to look don't realize the longer term impacts this big news has. Visa has now partnered with over 65 crypto platforms. Crypto-linked card usage soars despite price volatility. So we're seeing all the major inroads and all the major freeways being built for crypto to be able to be completely mainstream. And so as these freeways are going in, like it looks like a construction wreck still, but just look past it and picture what it's going to look like when people can easily on-ramp and off-ramp crypto in all these different settings. And this is the kind of stuff, the kind of news that's going to lead it to be so simple that grandma can use it. All right. Study, U.S. financial advisors expect proportion of crypto holdings clients to increase by 60%. Interesting, isn't this? So this is a study of U.S. financial advisors and what they expect. And so they're expecting proportion of their crypto holding clients to increase by 60% this year, which means they have their fingers on the pulse of what their clients are asking them about, and this is exactly what they're seeing. Does that make sense? So I wanted to share this article with you. We also want to thank Stardust Runner for producing. He did some of the research on the stuff that we're sharing with you. He's been such a great asset to the Crypto Rain channel. Notice this one. Cryptocurrency is in a hiring frenzy, and you just might be a fit. Actually, you might be a fit, might be of interest to you. It's a bold new world, and as cryptocurrency gains mainstream street cred, there is a sizzling gold rush in hiring, and there is. And so a lot of the stuff that's happening in crypto is stealing away some of the top talent from a lot of the tech dev sides. And so you're seeing like this new project, oh, they have a huge lead from Google or a huge lead that used to work at Amazon. Notice the used to work at Amazon. Why? Well, because so much money is coming into crypto and they're stealing them away. Number one, because the interest there. And so this is where a lot of the intellectual capital is going into crypto. And this is why I'm so bullish on crypto for the long term, but even for the short term, especially with the big pullback that we're experiencing. This pullback isn't going to last for forever. Now, the Biden administration, bless their hearts. That's all I can say. Biden's Bitcoin regulation and the threat of higher taxes for crypto. So we don't know specifically what he's going to do. You know, he put out a thing, and this is kind of what politicians do. They put out a thing to have it reviewed by the threats and, you know, advantages of crypto to all the federal agencies. He's probably already has in his mind what he wants to do. They just usually kind of put that out as some backup, and sometimes they tell them what they want them to find in their papers. They then write, okay, so I want you to research this, and these are the findings I want you to have. It's a little game that politicians play so that they then can say, oh, yeah, well, look, this agency recommended this. And I suspect that he's already come to this conclusion because the little shenanigans that Janet Yellen played where they had some no-named U.S. senator sneak something into a bill. We talked about this like 5 months ago, right? It was kind of like a poison pill that would change some things in crypto that favored Bitcoin or favored ETH. I forget what it was. But essentially it made it so all wallets had to KYC or there's these huge fines, which would make DeFi impossible. And essentially it was a poison pill that would crush anything that was trying to do DeFi. And they snuck it in a weird time between as Republicans and Democrats battled some things out. And so that Chuck Schumer in the U.S. Senate said, like, no more debate. And it was snuck in. And then there couldn't be debate and they couldn't get it excluded. And Janet Yellen was behind that. And Janet Yellen, I think, is behind what's going on with this or behind or with the people that are behind this push. And I don't know what this adds up to. But my guess is they're in the pocket of some people that don't want crypto to happen. That's just the vibe I've been getting from the past year. I mean, to tell you the truth, prior to about 9 months ago, I had no idea what Biden's policy or direction on cryptocurrency would be. The Trump administration didn't seem very favorable to crypto. Mike Novogratz seemed to be very positive that the Biden administration would be super positive for crypto. I was hopeful that he was right. I'm just not seeing that he was right. So hopefully I'm wrong on this. I would love to be wrong on this because the U.S. could slow down crypto some. And what's interesting is they are talking in this article about some things that they could do. And one of the things that, for U.S. politics, it's really the Congress that should be making these rules, not the president. There's things that he can do by executive order, and presidents tend to overuse this. U.S. presidents, they're not supposed to be going out making completely new rules, but as the executive over like the IRS and things, there are certain clarifications he can direct them to make on how he wants it to be taxed while Congress figures out a long-term solution. Because executive orders can be immediately overruled if he gets replaced by someone else, can immediately get changed. And so executive orders aren't usually long-term, they're just a short-term. And there's usually a lot of presidential overreach with executive orders. And so he might overreach here from what he should do. We'll see how this comes out. It'll really tell us what Biden's real feelings on things are. I suspect it's negative to crypto. And every U.S. president, my guess is there's a lot of pressure for them to be negative to crypto because it takes away their ability to play with monetary policy to buoy up the economy, because no president, Democrat, Republican, or anyone, wants the economy to crash while they're in the presidency, right? And so if they lose complete control over monetary policy because everybody goes to cryptocurrency for their money, well, that takes away a lot of power from the U.S. president. So there's pressure on any U.S. president, no matter who he is, to be negative towards crypto. What I don't think they really understand is the genie is out of the bottle. They can try to put it back, but I don't think they'll win. All they'll do is slow it down some. What do you think, D?
Yeah, no, you're well said. I don't really know what else to say about it, because like the thought that kept going through my head as you were reading that is we talk about buying the news. Right. What's the thing? What's buy the rumor, sell the news. Sell the news, right? So what's the flip side of that, right? When there are rumors going on like this that are negative rumors, I don't know that there should be an anecdote for that, but logically,
a lot of times it's the whales that help push this out in ways that freak everybody out, because they usually have the connections to know exactly what's going out behind the scenes. But if you look back on the charts and you see all these big dips, a lot of these dips coincided to bearish news coming out, just one right after the other, which sometimes it's been speculated that these whales are also in bed. We do have some evidence that there are some of these whales in bed with like Cointelegraph and other things to kind of time some of this news coming out. So maybe they're trying to push it down further. Let's see what the Biden administration does. Bearish Bull says, Janet Felon Yellen. Like it. Giovanni says, recently Kathy Woods talked about Bitcoin being $1 million per coin and ETH $170K per ETH. by 2030. Do you agree? I do think she's one of the smartest financial advisors in the world, one of the smartest hedge fund managers, better said. And I take everything Cathie Wood says, like I give it a lot of weight. She has been more right than just about anybody in history. She tends to be, she's right a lot more than she's wrong. So I agree.
Yeah, we covered that. Was that on Wednesday of last week?
Yeah, we covered the 1 million. We didn't bring up the ETH part to 170K. Would love to see that. I do think many of you here, if you follow, like you stick around for the next 5 years and commit to the next 5 years, you're going to see this life-changing wealth come to you. So, with that said, are you ready to be a rainmaker and join the Navy SEALs of crypto to level up your crypto game? Do keep in mind this channel isn't for everyone. Our goal isn't to be the biggest YouTube channel, but is to help create the most informed audience, which we believe will lead to the wealthiest audience in crypto. Part of your journey is being realized right now as some of our audience has crushed it with the Veve Collectibles, and some of those being up 100x. But a larger part of that is not yet happened, as many of the altcoins that we have been talking about that we love on this channel have yet to have their day in the sun, and that will come. For a rainmaker system to work for you, you have to understand it in the system. Follow the system. It will help rewire your brain to buy when it's boring on quality projects that have hit a lull. So join us on a daily basis. It does make a difference. If you haven't already, consider hitting that all notifications bell and tune in when you see our videos pop up. We do a live stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now an additional live stream Wednesday evenings. And then we have shorter videos that launch throughout the week. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, shit, right before you could was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that, and I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. Principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, got parabolic, they dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes it time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. The time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn.